Develop your skills. Exercise 3, Development 03. Modify text using flash fill and concatenate. We're going to deal with a couple more efficiency tools here, but also some logical functions, things that are going to make leaps of logic for you just based on the text that's on the sheet. You're going to want to open the data cleanup worksheet, and when you're here, you'll get this. It looks pretty incomplete with this large empty portion here. What we're going to do first is we're going to just come up here and type Howard. As soon as we've entered Howard in here in cell C5, it says select C6, and then go to Data, and then click Flash Fill. Whoa. Howard, Otome, Hardy, Ford. So does this seem like telepathy to anybody else? That's not a pattern I would think of. How did Excel Oh, there it is. We have name, and we have Howard. It found name, and then it found Howard. Realizing that since names are involved, it's probably first and last, it gave us the last name of each. To be honest with you, this function kind of freaked me out the first time I used it. It found things that I didn't see on the sheet and thought it was reading my mind, or someone else's. Once we get over to first name, it makes a little bit more sense. We'll do Elena. Click one down, flash fill, bam, John, Brenda, and Deborah. The book doesn't tell you to do this part, but the picture does show that they had this pre-filled in here. So 619, 619, and then since there is no pattern here, we can just kind of handle it in. Numbers in parentheses are negative. All right. For phone number, since we have 619 in there, 555-2435, and then we'll flash fill, and hey, it'll pick up exactly what we need. That's flash fill. What flash fill is going to do is when you're populating a list, it's going to look elsewhere in the list for something that you may have already typed, and just like autocomplete or autofill, it's going to automatically look for a pattern that you've already defined and make life easier. Now we're going to deal with concatenation. Concatenating is actually a term that was used a long time ago in language, and what it really just means is to bring together or to connect two separate pieces. If you have hotel and room and you bring them together to be hotel room, or if you have snow and ball and bring them together to be snowball, that's concatenation. Concatenation made a comeback when it came to computer programming. Two different lines of code that they didn't want constantly referencing each other, but that did needed to work together, could be copied, merged, and used independently as one piece of code. That is concatenation of code. We're going to just work with the simple linguistic functions here. Click on cell G5, click Formulas, and then under Function Library, click on Text right here. There's concatenate right there. Concatenation is very, very simple. It just asks, well, what do you want me to put together? We're going to have it put together B5. And then we're going to have it put together I5. B5, click down on text 2, I5. You'll notice that each time you click on a new text, it adds one. It always wants to be one step ahead of you, so you don't have to click a next box or anything. It'll always add an empty one. If you don't need it, just leave it empty. Once we have B5 and I5, physician for 14, employee ID number, turns into physician 14. We can still fill handle this, and it will concatenate position and ID, physician 14, physician 4, nurse aide NA1, and nurse aide NA3. That is concatenation. Typically, if you're going to concatenate something, it's going to be because a list someone else gave you was kind of taken into pieces, or because you have two lists and you're merging them onto one shot. But remember concatenation whenever you need to merge things, especially just words. It can make life a lot easier if you're trying to take a list of first names and a list of last names and make a list of full names.